everybody. Happy Wednesday afternoon. How are you all doing? I am Candace for mercyisnew.com, and my screen looks kind of funny. I think it's okay. Y'all tell me if it looks okay. How is everybody? I hope you've had a happy new year. I am hopping on today to share a little piece of my story with you, and I am excited to share some tips with you that have helped me. If you do hop on live, please tell me hi so I know I'm not here by myself today. So when I started sharing about my weight loss journey, I started getting questions almost every day. How'd you do it? What's your secret? Is there some magical unicorn something that you did to lose weight? And so I got that question a lot. But the other question that I get nearly every day, I think, and that's what prompted me to do this video. I get messages every day. How are you dealing with anxiety and depression, without meds? And so I want to preface this video by saying that all our bodies are different. We react to different things in different ways. Our body chemistries are different. I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to give you medical advice. So I am just here sharing my personal experience with you and my journey over the last year, my health journey over the last year, but then my longer journey of trying to go off my meds and be free of antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds. And so because I keep getting this question asked a lot, I thought I'm just going to do a video and then I'm going to put this into a blog post later with the very specific things that I'm doing that are helping with anxiety and depression. And so that way, when you guys ask or you have a friend that asks, I can just send them a link. And so I hope that this helps, and it's my heart that this would be an encouragement to you and not leave anybody feeling, it's not a guilt thing. I don't want anybody to watch this video and feel guilty that you can't do some of these things that I have to share with you today. And then at the end, after I share my five suggestions or tips, I'm going to share a few of my thoughts on failure, because I have failed at this more times than not. And so I want to share just a little bit of my heart on that as well. I see there's a few of you here today. Happy New Year. How is everybody? I don't know about you, but here in East Tennessee, it's like freezing. It's been in the teens, and we're kind of not used to it being this cold for this long. So 14 degrees is really cold for Tennessee. So we've been staying inside, and I have been so thankful for our heat and our warm house. How is everybody? How's the weather where you're at? Is it cold where you're at too? Okay, so again, I'm just sharing from my personal experience, and I hope that this helps some of you. I don't want it to be guilt-inducing. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be hope-filled, because for so long, I didn't have hope that I could change. I thought I was destined to be struggling. I thought I'm just an anxious person. I am prone to depression. There's nothing I can do to change this. And so I'm here today to tell you that there are things you can do. There are things you can do to be proactive. And I'm not saying that you're going to be cured, or that the next day you're just going to all of a sudden not ever have any struggles again. And I also am not saying that I never have bad days anymore. So we live in a broken world, right? A fallen world. And we are not going to see perfect days upon perfect days until we meet Jesus face to face and live in heaven with him forever. So don't hear me saying, do these 5 things and your life will be perfect. I wish I could say that. But, you know, we still have struggles. We still have to live in this world, right? So I'm just sharing with you some things that have helped me. And with all that said, I'm going to share 5 things that have helped me the most. The 5 things that have helped me the most. I've been trying to think about this and pray about this. The more I get asked about it, the more I am compelled to seek out my own answers and look back over my life and reflect the last 1 or 2 years. Say, okay, what is it that is really helping me to feel better? When you have felt bad, as long as I did, feeling good is just such a huge blessing. And so I want to encourage you today that there is hope and that you can take baby steps. Don't be overwhelmed. Just jump in and try something new. And then, like I said at the end, I'm going to tell you a little bit about failure and my personal take on that. So, number 1, the first thing that really and truly helps me with my anxiety and depression is a heart of gratitude and a mindset change. So these go together for me because for the first how many ever years of my life, maybe my adult life, I have been chronically negative. And I always said, I'm just a negative person. I'm prone to this. You know, maybe it runs in your family, or maybe, I looked at my problems and I looked around me and saw all the bad and thought that was who I was. And I complained more than I named my blessings. And so over the past 1 and 2 years, God has shown me that He is a God of transformation. He did not create us to leave us as we are, but He is continually renewing us, renewing our minds, transforming us. He is making us into new creations. And sometimes I think we have to be willing for that and ready for that. And so, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago I wasn't ready for this journey. I don't know. I haven't really thought that through. But I start my day by writing down as many things as I can think of that I'm thankful for. So if you don't keep a gratitude journal, I want to encourage you to start that today. That is something you can do today. Leave it on your counter. Leave it by your bed when you get up in the morning, when you go to bed at night. If you struggle with laying in bed worrying and being fearful, count your blessings before you go to sleep and not your worries. So let's ask God, Lord, open my eyes to the miracles all around me, because I believe that there are miracles all around us and there are blessings all around us, should we choose to see it that way. So some of that, changing your mindset, is taking the things of your everyday life and flipping it around and seeing the blessing in it. Does that make sense? So when I'm tempted often to complain about the laundry situation, I thank God that I have a washer and dryer. I thank God that I have people in my home that need to be clothed. I thank God that we have been provided with the resources to own the clothes, and for modern technology that allows us to wash the clothes right here inside our own house. Now, I'm not saying I do this perfectly, but that's just an example of taking something that you would normally complain about and flipping it around and seeing the good in it. So if there is someone that you are struggling with, maybe it's a relationship that is just taking over your mind, I want to encourage you, start praying for that person every single day. And here's the catch. Don't be praying for them to change. Pray with gratitude for the person you're struggling with gratitude. Lord, thank you for this person. Thank you for bringing this person into my life. Thank you for our relationship. Thank you for how you are going to work in this person's life. Thank you for how you're working in my life. And pray for that person with gratitude, okay? With a heart of humility. So, taking the things you would normally complain about, flip it around, and ask God. Maybe you can't see the good. Ask God to help you see the good and see the miracle in each and every difficult thing and even the good things. I think sometimes we're so blessed we forget to even thank Him for our blessings, right? Or we think we earned it or deserved it or whatever. So having a heart of gratitude and changing your mindset, and even just realizing that it's possible to change has been huge for me. So huge. Can anybody identify with that? Help me not to feel so alone. If you struggle with gratitude, I want you to comment below. And I want you to name some blessings in the comments, okay? Name some blessings. Sometimes it's hard. And that's your sacrifice of praise, right? Because when we praise God and we turn our eyes to God, He fills us with peace. And before I move on to number 2, I want to share with you the scripture passage that has radically changed my mindset and is one that we should all memorize if we're struggling in this area. So it starts, it's several verses, but I'll get to the main verse. Philippians chapter 4, that so many of us are familiar with. And sometimes these familiar passages become too familiar. So read it in a different version. Speak it out loud. Pray it. Write it. Memorize it. Whatever you have to do to get it in your head. Starts off by saying, rejoice in the Lord always. That's tough, y'all. I'm not going to lie. I'll say it again. Rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Whether you feel Him or not, He is near. Our feelings do not equate truth, right? Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, here's the kicker, with thanksgiving. Present your request to God. So like I said, that person you're struggling with, or that issue, that struggle, that circumstance, bring it to God with thanksgiving. And then what? Then the peace of God that passes all understanding will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Okay, so that's the first part. Now here's the mindset part. So the first part was the gratitude part. Take all your requests to God with thanksgiving. Then here is the mindset part. Verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And if you keep reading that verse, whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, He's saying, put these things into practice. All this that I just told you in this whole chapter about rejoicing and praying and thinking about these things, put it into practice. And then what? The God of peace will be with you. There's that word peace again. I love that the letter to the Philippians tells us to pray with thanksgiving, and then God will give us peace. And to think about these things, and then we're filled with peace. So that tells me how huge our mindset is. So if you are spending all your day thinking about your problems, yes, you are going to feel bad, and your anxiety is going to keep rising, right? So think about whatever's true. And what is true? Well, here is truth. Think about it. Meditate on it. Meditate on His Word more than you meditate on your problems, okay? So the first thing that has helped me the most with anxiety and depression is having a heart of gratitude, cultivating gratitude. We don't just have it. We have to cultivate it and be intentional. A heart of gratitude and a mindset change. That's number 1. Number 2, I have changed how I eat. Our food plays a huge part in how we feel. So have you heard the quote, food is medicine? Well, after the last few years, I have found that to be very, very, very true. And so I find it very, very interesting that the things that have helped me on my weight loss journey are also the things that are helping me with my anxiety and depression. Our bodies are so intricately made. Our bodies, God created us in such a way that it all works together, right? Your hormones affect your sleep. Your sleep affects your mood. What you eat affects your, your energy, and then that affects your motivation and your exercise. You know, it all works together, and that is one huge lesson that I have learned this year. And so I hope that you will hear me saying none of these one things by themselves necessarily made a huge impact, but doing them in combination has really, truly changed my life. So a lot of times people ask, well, how did you change your diet? So I am eliminating as many carbs and grains and sugars as possible. Do I do this perfectly every day? No. But I do it enough that I notice when I do eat a plate full of carbs, I feel like yuck. So for instance, over Christmas break, my daughter made big, delicious waffles with our waffle maker, and I had some. And the next day, I felt terrible. And so while that was frustrating, it also was very eye-opening. And I thought, you know what? This is why I've been doing what I've been doing, because I'm learning what foods affect me how. And a lot of times, those grains and sugars are gonna make your anxiety levels higher. I hate to say it. So, you know, sugar is so bad for us anyway. It's addicting. It feeds on the cancer. You know, it just is bad for us in so many ways. So learning, first of all, we know sugar is bad for us, but then beyond that, our bodies are also different. So learning dairy may be something for you. Dairy doesn't bother me, but it may bother you. But a lot of like the real carby, like donuts, cake, bread, waffles, pancakes, biscuits, gravy, all that kind of stuff, if I eat a lot of it, it makes me feel tired, bloated, and then if I keep eating it, which is where I was a year ago, if I keep eating that way day after day after day, I plummet. So one day I eat it, I feel bad, and I recognize it. But if I keep eating that way, I get irritable, and that just leads to this spiral. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. And that's where I was before. Okay? So number one, cultivate a heart of gratitude and change your mindset. Change your thoughts. Our thoughts have such power. Number two, change how you eat. Take baby steps. Maybe you can only, eliminate one thing at a time. Stop drinking soda, or, start replacing one thing at a time. Whatever you have to do. Baby steps are fine. Baby steps are awesome. I didn't just wake up one morning and do all this, right? So, your food is medicine. We need to be eating well and eating clean. Number three, the other hard one, exercise. So, here is where I'm going to tell you, if y'all saw my post last night on Instagram or on my personal Facebook page, you saw that it was really, really cold. Did I mention it's really cold here? It's like 15 degrees or something. And last night, I did not want to go exercise. I didn't want to leave my house. It's just so cold. But more than being comfortable, I want to feel good. And I want energy to live out this life God has given me. And I want my mood to be stable and good. So I made the hard choice and I did it. I went to exercise, and afterwards I feel so much better. It's very empowering. The more right choices you make, the more that empowers you and motivates you to keep going. Okay? So that doesn't mean, you have a bad day and you give up, right? But that just means you tell yourself, okay, baby steps. Every time I make one good choice, it's going to motivate me. Like when I eat well, it motivates me to want to exercise. Or when I exercise, I don't want to ruin all that by eating a big plate full of donuts, right? So they kind of all play off of each other. So number three is exercise. And I will also add that I've done strength training this year for the first time ever in my life. Simple. Go to Pinterest and search in like hand weights or some exercises with hand weights or simple strength training exercises. There are studies that show that adding in strength training can be even more powerful than antidepressants. Let that sink in for a minute, okay? If you knew that moving your body and lifting some hand weights 3 or 4 times a week could help your mental health, would you do it? So, I'm going to show you something. Hang on. You can go to Walmart and you can get some of these babies. Now, I go to my church that has a gym and it's free for me to use, so thankfully I haven't had to spend a lot of money on my exercise this year. But if you don't have that, go to Walmart and get some hand weights and just start. I do this in both hands, and I've just looked for exercises, go up, you know. Then you can do a wall sit, because that's going to work your legs, and you don't need any equipment for that except a wall. I do a plank every time I exercise, and I try to get longer every time. So 5 seconds longer, 5 seconds longer. Strength training is a huge, huge, huge benefit to your stress and anxiety levels and your mental state, your mental health. So that was number 3, exercise. And I know I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is what it is. God created us to move, right? He just did. All right, number 4, the 4th thing of 5 that have helped me the most in my battles with anxiety and depression. Number 4, essential oils. All right, so many of you have heard me talk about oils. If you haven't, I'm going to give you just a quick little synopsis. God is a better pharmacist than Pfizer. I'm just going to say it how it is. I'm just going to tell you the truth. That doesn't mean we never need to utilize, our modern medicine, because it is a gift to be in this country and to have things available if we break a leg, if we have a heart attack or whatever. But our day-to-day things can be helped so much, including our emotions. So God created all these plants. It's not weird. Don't let it be weird. God's medicine cabinet is right outside our door. So if I could just go sit outside 24/7, I wouldn't need to buy these pretty little bottles, right? But most of us spend the majority of our time indoors, right? So how many of you know that your sense of smell is the only sense, not your sight, not your taste, not your hearing, not your touch, your sense of smell is the only sense that goes straight to that part of the brain where your emotions and your memory, so many things in that tiny little part of your brain, your sense of smell goes straight there and begins working. It gets into your system fast. So just even taking a bottle of good, high-quality essential oils and taking a deep breath, that is going to give you a boost. So if you wonder why I always have diffusers going, if you wonder why I carry oils in my purse, helping my emotions is the number 1 thing that essential oils have done for me. And I want to show you my favorite for dealing with anxiety. Frankincense, the powerhouse oil. They brought it to baby Jesus. My personal theory is they brought it to Mary because, hello, postpartum. I actually believe that if I had had this 12 years ago when I had my babies, I might not have had to be on those antidepressants for so long, and that I might have been able to pull out of that season of my life a lot quicker. So frankincense is very calming, grounding. It has been used since ancient times. We see it in the Bible. We see it all throughout history. It is nothing new. But let me show you how I use it, okay? Now, I'm not recommending that you ingest any other brand. I can't even really tell you about other brands. I just use this. For the last 2 years, I've used Young Living oils, and I trust, we have our own farms, and there's no pesticides on it and all that. But I take the bottle, and I put my thumb over the top, and then I kind of shake a little bit on there. Then I take my thumb, press it to the roof of my mouth. Now, the very next question I get is, does it taste good? Well, no, not really. But if you had something that could replace your antidepressants and it didn't taste good, but it helped you to feel good, would you use it? I would, and I am. So I've been doing this for about almost a year. And the way that I know that it's working is because a few months ago, I think it was maybe October, I actually ran out of frankincense. I know. That's horrifying, isn't it? And so before I could get it ordered, all of a sudden I started realizing that I was feeling all stressed out and anxious again. I get this panicky, like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with life. That's how anxiety kind of plays out in my life. And I started feeling that way again, and it shocked me because I realized that I had not felt that way in over a year. And so it kind of scared me. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing different? Is something wrong? What's going on? And then I remembered I was out of frankincense. So that, to me, I was kind of almost glad I ran out of it because it showed me how much of an impact it was making on me. So luckily I have good oily friends in my town, and I went right that day to my friend niece's, and she let me borrow a bottle of frankincense because it helps me so much. Now, the thing about oils is they're like fruits and vegetables. You can't just use a drop of lavender on Monday and expect it to change your life, right? So using multiple oils all day, having your diffuser going. I use an oil for my hormones that has taken away all my PMS symptoms, but I use it every day. I use these oils every day. I put them on my skin. I put frankincense in the roof of my mouth. I have my diffuser going. Orange is a favorite oil that's mood boosting to put in your diffuser. So they're like fruits and vegetables. The more you eat, the more you use them, the better you're going to feel, right? So essential oils. That is number 4 on my list of 5 things that have helped me with anxiety and depression. Okay, number 5. All right, this is another Young Living product, y'all. So, but hang on, don't tune me out just yet because I have 2 more things I want to tell you after I get done with this. Nixia Red is our super fruit juice supplement. It is made from the wolfberry. If you've never heard of the wolfberry, I want you to, when I get done with this video, go and Google the benefits of the wolfberry. This supplement will support every system of your body. It's got a lot of zinc in it, so it's great for immunity. It's got a lot of magnesium and fiber. It's like the highest whole food source of fiber in the world. It's even got some protein in it. It's got lots and lots of good things in it. It also has blueberry fruit juice, plum fruit juice, sweet cherry, pomegranate. So it's a fruity kind of drink, right? You drink 1 or 2 ounces a day. And the next question I'm going to get is, how much does that cost? It's an investment, just like the oils are. But if you have a Starbucks habit or a fast food habit, let this replace your fast food budget, okay? Because you are just putting terrible stuff into your body with all that Starbucks and fast food. And I will be the first to tell you, I used to go through the drive-thru all the time. I did. I really did. And I hate to admit that to you today, but this generally costs around $70 a month for one person to do 2 ounces. So you could cut that in half and start with 1 ounce. You also get 2 samples of this in the starter kit, which I'm going to tell you about in just a minute. But this is good for so many things: vision, heart, immunity, stress management. It's a great, great supplement. It's called Nixia Red. So go and Google the benefits of the wolfberry after I get done, all right? And you will see what I'm talking about. All right. So those are the 5 things that I wanted to tell you about that are helping me the most to deal with anxiety and depression without antidepressants. Now, here's what I want to tell you about failure. Here's where I want you to listen in. I'm going to share a little bit of my heart with you, and I'm going to just be vulnerable here for a minute. A lot of you have followed my blog, and you have read my story, and you've probably heard me talk about these things a million times, and you're like, okay, quit talking about it all. But I have struggled just like you. I have tried so many times to get healthy and to lose weight, and I failed. I've failed way more times than I've succeeded, because here, this one time last year, I succeeded. But here's what I want to tell you. What if I had let those failures hold me back? What if I had said, I've never been able to before, so why should I even try? What if I had not tried again? What if I had not agreed to go meet that friend at the gym and walk laps? What if I had let my failures hold me back? How many of us do that? I did for so long. So you are not alone if you feel like there's just no way and you just don't know where to get started and you just feel like I've done this so many times. Why even try? Okay, my encouragement to you is don't give up. Try again. Get up and try again. Because if I had not tried again, where would I be today? I would be in that same rut, feeling horrible, with that 35 pounds of extra weight on, tired all the time, no energy, bad mood, in a negative, bad place. And so when we think about failure, we get discouraged. But let that failure propel you on to the success that God wants for you. Because if we don't try again, we'll never know, right? What if I had not tried again? So I just want to encourage you today. Our God loves you, and He created you in His image. He created you with a purpose and a plan, and sometimes we need these things to help us on our journey, right? God has given us such gifts to help us on our journey. And so we have to have open hands, a willing spirit. We have to be teachable. We have to be humble and willing to learn and try new things. And we have to be cultivating this heart of gratitude and not dwelling on our failures and not dwelling on our circumstances, because our circumstances aren't ever going to be perfect until we get to heaven, right? So we can't wait for the perfect time to start. We can't wait for the perfect day or the perfect method or whatever. We have to take baby steps, and we have to trust the God of the universe who created us in His image and who calls us a new creation. We are new in Christ. He sees us as a new creation. He's transforming us by the renewing of our minds. And how do we do that? By digging into His Word. So I just want to encourage you today to not give up. Don't give up. Try again. Get up and try again. And one last thing, if you are wanting to get started with essential oils, they have just been a bridge to better health for me. They kind of were the gateway to this healthier lifestyle. Our team is led by a medical doctor, and she encourages, good eating and exercise. That's kind of how I got started on this journey, was by listening to the teaching of Dr. Edie Wadsworth, who is a good friend and also our leader of the Oily Sisterhood with over 4,000 women in it now. So you can join our team, and this, for the next 6 days, I think, I am going to send you a second diffuser if you join my team. It's a diffuser that I have in one of my daughter's rooms that has lasted for several years, and it would be great to have a diffuser in your living room and also in a bedroom when you sleep at night, to be reaping the benefits of those oils even while you sleep. And I'm going to send you a little citrus oil. So that's 12 oils and 2 diffusers. That's the best deal I've ever offered. So anyways, I hope this has encouraged you. And again, go back and remember what your assignments are. You're going to start a gratitude journal. You're going to write it in the morning and before bed. You are going to take baby steps. You're not going to feel guilt. You're going to Google the benefits of the Wolfberry. You are going to try out frankincense for your anxiety. You might memorize Philippians 4:8, and then you're going to let me know if you have any questions about essential oils or this Nixia Red supplement I talked about. And then you're going to remember to try again. We're not going to let our past failures have control of our lives anymore. All right? I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.